guys, Stitching May here to do my quick update video. I do have a little bit of housekeeping to get out of the way. So my video 132 I recorded with my external mic, and when my husband and I were watching it back, we noticed there was some white noise, some kind of, I don't know how to describe the sound. I can hear it. I don't know if I am being too critical. He says that I'm being too critical. However, this video I am recording with the internal mic of the camera. I've had to record, this is the second time I'm recording this video, because earlier I still had it on the manual settings and you couldn't hear me. Like, couldn't hear me at all. In the virtual Stitchers group, I would say I had the case of the Jonies. That's a long story. Anyway, I've got this back to the auto with the internal mic. Let me know if you can hear me, if you like the quality better on the 132 video, or if you like this quality better here. If the quality's better, it may be worth the white noise. Let me know what you guys think. I will go with either the internal mic or the way it was in the last video, depending on your feedback, because my husband says I'm just being too self-critical of it. It's very possible. With that housekeeping out of the way, I will also note that whenever I went to upload and edit the other video, I realized that I completely missed my Flosstube anniversary. Guys, April the 6th of 2012, wow, that was really country, 12, is when I uploaded my first video, which means that this is my 7th year of doing videos. 7 years, guys. I've been coming to you 7 years, showing you my cross stitch stuff, and you've listened to me ramble. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you guys have, some of you guys have stuck with me for 7 years. You've been here the whole time. Some of you are still new subscribers. Maybe this is your first video. Either way, I really appreciate you guys watching me. Coming back if you come back, not, completely berating me in the comments. I've been lucky. So far, this is probably going to be my curse. Haven't had too many mean comments, none that have hurt my feel goods. But then again, I kind of have a tough skin. You have to when you're a nurse. But anyway, so with that said, after 7 years of videos, it kind of gets hard to come up with witty titles. So I'm taking a page out of Sammy J's book, stealing her idea actually, and I named this video, as you can see, Season 7, Episode 3. What I didn't have to do any hard math to figure out which episode I was on and which season I was on, with it just being my Flosstube anniversary. I'm going to continue to do that for a while, because it makes it easier. I'm not going to lie, I'm lazy. If I have something witty, I'll add it underneath it. But we're going to see how this goes. Thank you, Sammy J, for permission to steal your idea. We kind of loosely talked about it. I told you I might do it. So guess what? I'm doing it. Anyway, what you're here for is not all this rambling. You're here for the stitching. So I will jump right into that. This week we only had 2 tasks to stitch for Magical Stitches. So I only worked on 2 projects. But they, ooh, my belly's growling. But they were, we'll see how good quality the camera picks that up. But they were a larger amount of stitching on each task. So the first thing we had to do was, well, no, let me jump where I left off last week. Guys, 7 years of videoing and I'm still like a brand new person here. When I left you guys last week, I was finishing up the 10 stores for Hogsmeade. I needed to stitch on 2 more assignments. I was stitching them both on the Crypt Club, and I needed to do a total of 200 stitches. I only got about 150 of those stitches done, so I only completed one of those. This is what the Crypt Club will look like when it's finished and not upside down. See, when I first started doing videos, I would have completely restarted this just because of that. Not now. It is what it is. But this is what it will look like when it's finished. This is where I was last week when I left you guys. And then here is where I currently am now. So I finished Jack out. I'm going to call him Jack because my dad came by one day when I was working on this thing and he said he looked like the guy from The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's one of my favorite movies. Why couldn't I place that? I think he looks like Voldemort. Like with that face, I think he looks like Voldemort. But I finished out his feet and then I started on his female companion. I am stitching this in the called for DMC alternative. And this is stitched on 32 count Meyer by Picture This Plus. The fabric was a gift to me a few years ago by Emily C. We were both going to do a sal, and we decided against doing that project after some stuff happened. Long story. But that's where I am now. So, this week's tasks. This feels awkward to me because I've already said all this, so I feel like I'm boring you, even though you haven't seen it yet, and it got deleted. This week's tasks, we had to stitch, because we had angered the Whomping Willow, we had to stitch 300 stitches on a tree or in green, or we could stitch 450 stitches on anything we wanted if we felt like we had not angered the Whomping Willow. For task 2, because somebody leaked the secret of the secret room, we had to stitch 300 stitches on a building or 450 stitches on anything we wanted if we felt like we had not, betrayed that trust. I started on task 2 because there's a funny story behind this one. I was in Virtual Stitcher stitching and I wanted to stitch on the building of my Spangle piece by the Long Dog Samplers. Let me see if I can find the cover. It's out from earlier. So, this is what it will look like when it's finished. I was up in this upper right corner here. In order to get to where I could stitch on the building and stitch 300 stitches on the building to complete the task, I was going to have to kind of stitch down and then follow this little zigzaggy thing under the plants over to the building. And I was really, really worried about messing that all up and getting everything off in the middle of the project. And I was talking to them about that in the Virtual Stitchers group. Disclaimer, while Vicky was in the room while I had this conversation, she did not participate in the conversation, nor did she approve or disapprove my idea. Disclaimer finished. Anyway, as I was talking to them about being worried about it, I think it was Jen or either Sammy, I don't know which one, asked me, well, how many stitches are you going to have to stitch to get to that point? Are you ready? It was 150, like 155 actually. So I was going to stitch 155 stitches to be able to stitch 300 stitches on the building to avoid doing 450 stitches, penalty stitches. Anybody doing the math faster than I did it? So instead, I did the 450 penalty stitches and just worked on the corner. That's where I didn't have to worry about messing up my pattern. So this is where I was before I did my penalty stitches and felt like a person who couldn't math. And this is where I am now. Guys, I absolutely, positively love working on this piece. This is one of my favorite whips in my rotation. Every time I pick it up, I don't want to put it down. The colors are amazing. This is stitched on 36 count raw linen by Zweigert because of the orange thread. And I'm stitching it in the called for DMC colors. I did not use the silks. But when I work on this piece, I don't want to put it down. So I love it. If you're on the fence about this piece, by all means, go ahead and get it. It's worth it. It's a lot of fun. So then once I finished that, I think I finished that last night. All my stitching lately has been at the end of the week. Like I don't stitch much Monday through Wednesday. I think that's because that's when my son has his baseball games and everything. Speaking of, guys, this week's baseball game. So we played a team that always wins, and always beats the other team like 21 to like 2. We were like 21 to 11. We were so excited. We were so noisy. Those boys did great. Anyway, I digress. So then I went back to task 1. And I decided to stitch on my Tree of Hope. How fitting. It'll focus, sorry. And I worked on the canopy of the tree. This is where I was before this assignment. And then this is where I am now. Let's go behind here. So what I worked on, I thought about coming on down the trunk of the tree and working on the little flowery bush at the bottom. However, it said you could work on a tree, flowers, or a shrub. And I wasn't 100% sure if that flowery area counted as a shrub because it was more of a flower. So instead of stitching, and I would have had to stitch that in order to finish out this trunk, I came on up and worked more on the canopy. My exact area is I finished out some of this wood here, or not wood, the branches. It is wood, but the branches. And then I also worked on the bottom part of the canopy. So once this comes out and around, that is all that I need to do for this canopy. And it will be done except for the beading. And then I will do the rest of the trunk and the 2 ladies. And then, I mean, guys, I'm like mostly finished on this project. I'm really, really excited about it. I've been working on this for about 2 years now. But there. That is. I have to say, I was trying to hurry up and finish this tonight before I did the video to where I'd have all my homework done for once instead of anything pending for next week. I should have put the pressure on myself like that, because then every time I stitched, I had to frog. Like those last 50 stitches where I was ready to like just put it down and be done and not even finish the homework for 50 stitches. But I finally got it done. I powered through. My homework's done. When I finish this video, I'm going to jump on Virtual Stitchers because I think some of them have already called me out in the group asking where I am. And I'm going to jump on there, stitch with them, and work on some extra credit. Probably my birth sampler. I haven't touched that in a couple months, so I need to get that. I need to get working on that. But that's really it for this video. Guys, again, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate all your comments and all your input, and it's been great getting to know you over the last 7 years. As always, take care and happy stitching.